Hi everyone, Shane Monroe here. Before we get started, let's talk about what an EmuDeck install actually is. When you installed EmuDeck, a lot of stuff went to internal storage, no matter what you chose. Emulators, configuration files, some of your save files, and the emulation folder could optionally be there. ROMs, BIOS files, scrape media, some of your save files. During the install, you may have elected, say, your MicroSD card, and that's where the emulation folder was created. But there's one thing you gotta know. The path to emulation is hard-coded everywhere. Everywhere. Your Steam launchers, ESDE, everything. So we use EmuVirtual to let us point to wherever we want, whenever we want. Thanks to using the EmuVirtual symlink, it doesn't matter where your emulation folder is. It can be wherever you want it to be. All you have to do is repoint the EmuVirtual folder to where you want it to be. Today we're going to be taking our files internally and moving them externally. Let's get started. If you followed my tutorial using the EmuVirtual symlink and you installed internally, this is what things should look like. In your home folder, there should be an EmuVirtual symlink. That symlink is currently pointed to home/deck, which is the home of the emulation folder. That's your ROMs, your BIOS files, everything. It's all right here. And you can see I have ROMs and all that other good stuff. That is an internal storage. Now on my external device, I don't have an emulation folder. This is my MicroSD card. What I really want to do though is move this emulation folder over to a different location and relink it, right? You suddenly got a big MicroSD card. It's time to take emulation off of the valuable internal storage and move it to somewhere else. So we're going to move this over to our MicroSD card. Now, depending on how much stuff you have, this could take a long time. In my case, it took upwards of about 50 minutes. But see here, this is the location of the MicroSD card in question. All we really need to do now is get rid of this EmuVirtual. We'll delete it. There's another way to do this. I'll show you later. But then we're going to recreate it. I want you guys to sort of understand what we're doing. We're going to create a new link. It's going to be EmuVirtual, just like it was before. Only this time, instead of it pointing to home/deck, where the emulation folder is, we want to point it to the MicroSD card, where the emulation folder is being moved to even as we speak. Now, we're not going to sit here and wait forever, because this will take bloody forever. But you can see here that it is definitely pointed at the same contents of the MicroSD card. Let's move this along a little bit. All right, we're almost done here. We only have a few more seconds. In all reality, if this worked out right and all the files moved over, emulation out of the home deck folder, and we moved it to the MicroSD card, you can see right here, it's here. All of my stuff is in it. We've realigned the EmuVirtual to point here. If we were to go in here and look at properties, you can see that it's actually pointed to our MicroSD card, which is exactly what we want. We want it to point EmuVirtual to that MicroSD card. You see, perfect. It all lines up. Had we not used EmuVirtual as our install point inside of EmuDeck, all of these hard-coded links would now fail, right? We moved emulation off of where the hard-coded links are. But thanks to using EmuVirtual, the paths that are hard-coded in Steam Rom Manager launchers, in ESDE, they're all still pointing to the same place. It's EmuVirtual that's dictating where the emulation folder is, whether it's internal, external, NAS, on an external hard drive, it doesn't matter. Now, we'll do a quick test just to make sure, of course, but we all know that this is going to work because, well, it's in the video, right? So there you go. So what we've done successfully is taken our emulation folder off of internal storage, moved it to the MicroSD card, deleted the EmuVirtual link, and rebuilt it, this time pointing to the root of the SD card instead of the root of home/deck. Now you're probably saying, hey, I just got this 2 terabyte internal storage. I'm ready to move all my emulation stuff back inside. Can I just reverse the process? You can put the emulation folder anywhere you want, as long as the deck can get to it, and you update the EmuVirtual symlink. So here we go. We're going to copy these all back. Actually, we're not going to copy them all back, but you're going to move the emulation folder from where it is, in this case MicroSD, you're going to move it internally to the home/deck. We're going to copy that off. We're going to delete the existing EmuVirtual. and we're going to rebuild it, this time pointing to the new destination of where the emulation folder is going to be, home/deck. And of course, remember, EmuVirtual, capital E, capital V. Remember, Linux is case sensitive, and that is where all the hard-coded paths are pointing, is to EmuVirtual. And now it'd be pointing to the home folder, which is what we want, because that's where we are moving emulation back to. Pretty straightforward, right? Unfortunately now, because I did not actually move the emulation folder, I've got to put it back. You may think that you could just say, oh, well, let's change it pointing to the microSD card here. That would work, right? I mean, that would make sense, points to. Well, unfortunately, it doesn't work, right? It does some sort of weird error. That's okay. That's okay. Don't panic. Don't panic. We can rebuild the EmuVirtual anytime we feel like it. We'll just right click. And of course, we'll create a new file pointer, folder pointer in this case. And again, EmuDeck, capital E, capital V, to make sure all of your links continue to work. This is it, folks. It's not that hard, but understanding the concepts is worth having in your bucket. All right, this is Shane R. Monroe. Thanks so much for watching. Like, subscribe, hit the bell. You guys know what to do. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time.